Peace. What's good? How y'all doing? Today is June 3rd, 2022. My son's birthday is 10 days away. This year is flying by, but I pray that this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. I am doing well. Thank you. I am I've been doing a lot of content over the past couple of weeks. I spent most of this week recording videos for courses as well as my private membership page. I just uploaded a mindfulness meditation on the group page in case you guys haven't seen it. And I will be uploading the video on chemtrails this evening. I was going to try to post part of that video on YouTube, but the dance that you have to do now in order to speak truth on social media has become very tedious and irritating, quite honestly. So I at least wanted to put up like a 20-minute clip so I could at least give people some idea of the grand scope of this decimation of our planet using natural resources and man-made resources. But just the hoops that I have to jump through to watch what I'm saying and cross out certain words on the on the form so that the algorithm doesn't pick it up. I just don't feel like doing all of that. So, but for the group, that video will be up shortly today, later on today. Also, one of my followers or my subscribers on YouTube, I hate the word follower, but one of my subscribers on YouTube asked me about making my videos available on demand. And the thought had actually never even crossed my mind. But I, went and checked my website, called technical support, and figured out that I can't actually do it. So I'm going to start offering some of my content, the videos that are an hour plus, for on demand for a very small price. So if you're interested in that, you can always access that through my website as well as any of the links in the description on my videos, because I've been filming a lot of content and I'm getting ready to put a lot of content out, but it's mainly going to be based on my membership channel. But if you don't want to join the membership and you still want to be able to access certain content, then you will have the right to do so moving forward. Also, this Sunday is Ask Me Anything. So if you are a member of the group, make sure you get your questions in to me before Sunday, and I will read them and address them out loud then. I have secured a date for my next LA event. It's going to be July 23rd of 2022. We have booked a beautiful rooftop venue, and it's going to be summer in summer in LA. So you know what that means. The view and the weather will be beautiful, and we're going to have beautiful people. So if you're interested in joining us on July 23rd in Los Angeles, I'll be posting information for that soon as well. All right. So dissatisfaction brings change. Remember, that is a individual reality, but then there's also a collective consciousness reality, right? So I want to start off with a quote from Three Magic Words. I actually have two quotes, but I think I might have read this in one of my videos last week because I had to highlight it, but I think I did 7 or 8 videos last week. So like I had to take 2 days off this week just to like give my brain time to revive itself. So if I read part of this clip last week, then that just means that it's all the more relative to what we're going to talk about today. So on page 262, there is a section called Slaves and Masters, and it says, "The world is full of people who put the power of the subconscious to beneficial work in one aspect of their lives, but use it destructively in all others. Men are healthy but poor, wealthy but sick, creative but unhappy, powerful but unloved, and always, in such cases, they use the power unknowingly without control, having built patterns of positive thinking in certain lines and patterns of negative thinking in others. Only in one tiny orbit of their lives are they masters. In all others, they are slaves. I was listening to an audiobook last night, and he was talking about, this is not the quote anymore, obviously. He was talking about which it was one of the artists. Was it Van Gogh who cut off his ear? But he was talking about these different extreme levels. Not this book, this was a different book. These extreme levels of greatness in certain regards, certain men and women that were extremely great, musically, right? Or as artists, but how the rest of their lives were mediocre at best, or they did not achieve those high levels of success in all of the other aspects in their lives. And it was a big reason, or is a big reason, why oftentimes these people were either considered crazy, or they went crazy, or they suffer from very high levels of depression. And this is also true in the book the brother did about not post-traumatic slave syndrome. What am I saying? The book the brother did about the $40 million slaves. That's the name of it. And he talks about how a lot of Black entertainers and a lot of Black athletes end up at the end of their careers broke. Obviously, there's the financial aspect of it, but they also end up very living in depressed sort of conditions. And his position in the book, he was talking about the extreme levels of racism that, most Black athletes have had to deal with. And I would totally agree with that. But I also think that, going back to the position of the book, when you're so gung-ho in one particular area of your life, oftentimes the rest of your life will suffer as a result, right? So when I talk about going with the flow opposed to creating the flow, artists and people that have a particular greatness in one area of their life, they're creating the flow in that particular area because it's obviously bringing them some sort of fulfillment or joy, but the rest of their life, they're kind of going with the flow. He goes on to say, the power must work in all aspects of a man's life before he finds peace of mind and security. It is a small thing when it works in the realm of prosperity alone. And this is important because, particularly in the Black community, the African American community, I don't really see us talking about a lot of things outside of money. We're very gung-ho about chasing the bag. And, we're talking about mental health creeps in every now and then. And I think that we're doing mental health and mental illness. And as I've continued to say, it's not a real legitimate conversation until we really start going to the root of what's really plaguing humanity, which is the reason for this conversation today. Dissatisfaction brings change. And if I asked you, what percentage of, the 8 billion people on this planet, it's not 8 billion anymore. That number is dropping every day, unfortunately. But if I asked you what percentage of the human population do you think is actually living a life of contentment, a life of satisfaction, a life of realizing their highest and best potential, what would you say? And then beyond the collective consciousness, what if I asked you? Are you dissatisfied with your life right now? Are you dissatisfied with certain aspects of your life right now? The age-old, kind of legend of the unhappy married man or the unhappy married woman sitting outside the house for 10 or 15 minutes before they, to have a moment to themselves. Or not just marriage, but parents, right? Having to go in and face the noise. Sitting outside of your job before it's time to clock in. Having to pull yourself together to go and deal with the angry boss or coworkers or people that continuously rub you the wrong way. See, we've been living on the surface level of life, not realizing that even if we're operating on a surface level, surface mindset and consciousness, we're still creating our reality. This is the difference between consciously creating reality and creating reality by default, which is what most people are doing. The power must work in all aspects of a man's life before he finds peace of mind and security. It is a small thing when it works in the realm of prosperity alone. Said Jesus, quote, "What is a man profited if he gain the whole world and never find his own soul?" Indeed, the vanity and egocentricity that usually accompany wealth and social position make it increasingly difficult for a man to attain the humility and lovingness necessary for the discovery of the center of consciousness. Jesus pointed out Jesus pointed this out when he said, "It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven." Riches beget vanity, and vanity is a bar on the door. Yet, if a man will first discover the center of consciousness, abundance and achievement will fill his life, and he will truly understand that it has not been produced by his inconceivably small I, but by the power of universal subconscious mind. Seek first for the center of consciousness, all else will follow. This makes me think about Monique and DL Hughley. You got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people tuning into this interpersonal beef or situation between these two people. And they're arguing about contracts and who was supposed to go first. And I was supposed to be the headliner. And I'm sitting back and looking at this. And then I read the comments and how invested people are. Who I don't give a damn I don't care about none of that. I might take 60 seconds to brief myself with an Instagram clip, but am I emotionally invested? Energetically invested? Absolutely not. But they got the world emotionally and energetically invested in these people's lives. And that's why so many people are stagnant and complacent and dealing with sloppy thinking. Because all of the good comments and the clear thoughts come when you're addressing other people's lives, not so much your own. Success comes from successful thinking, which comes from inner poise and spiritual courage. Inner poise, let me write that down. Inner poise and spiritual courage. So what does inner poise look like for a person that's a feeler and that's sensitive to the needs of other people when they see all of this chaos and this insanity happening in the world and children being murdered directly and indirectly? Because just because people aren't walking into schools every day and killing children, thank God, they're doing it in a much more subtle, sadistic, and satanic way. So how do you have inner poise when every single day there's a new mass shooting? How do you have spiritual courage when 99.9% of the people are going in the same direction and truth is in the opposite direction? Now you got to risk being ostracized and being ridiculed and demeaned and minimized. But what if God is in that direction? God, of course, being your highest and best self, the microcosm of the macrocosm. Success comes from successful thinking, which comes from inner poise and spiritual courage, which comes from a man's discovery of the eternal self that dwells within his body. Wist ye not, I must be about my Father's business, becomes the motivation of his life. No aspiration is too high, no task too great, for he sees the grandeur he is caught up in, understands all things are possible to the power that dwells within It never ceases to amaze me when I do consultations or when I work personally with clients, how many people don't even know what they want. So you can be dissatisfied because you don't have what you want. And then to add insult to injury, dissatisfied because you don't know what you want. And there's no shortage of anything on the planet, despite the ongoing prevalent news articles and mass chaotic internal language and conversation that's steeped in fear. I went on YouTube today and I clicked a video. I don't even remember what the video was, but I clicked the video, and you know how the commercials come up before you actually see the video that you're watching. And the lady said, one of the first things out of her mouth was, the United States government is declaring war on the woman's body, or something to that effect. So here I am trying to watch a video. I want to say it was a yoga video, because I have a playlist of yoga videos that I watch. And when I see new videos come up, I'll click it so I don't forget it, so that it's in my history, but then I'll also add it to my watch later video. It was definitely a yoga video now that I think about it, actually. So I'm tuning in to something for my own spiritual and mental well-being. And there's a knock on the door of my subconscious mind, my conscious mind, that's telling me that as a woman, I need to get active and join this fight, because there are people that are trying to take away my rights to control my body. And if I had a weak mind, or if I was easily distracted, I could have been sent on a completely different trajectory, as are most people. Today, you're on a different trajectory than you were on 2 weeks ago, because of mass shootings, because of new illnesses, et cetera, et cetera. Gas is $8 at certain places in Los Angeles. Not only is there a high increase in the gas prices and in the food prices, Joe Biden has, not even eloquently, they didn't even write a good, here, say this to at least make the people feel good. They're not even hiding the fact that they're not working for the people anymore. Yes, gas prices are increasing, and there's really nothing we can do about it. I thought government officials were supposed to reassure people. Aren't they supposed to calm down the tension? Calm down the fear? No, they're exasperating it, because they understand that consciousness creates reality. So it's not just a 100 plus year agenda that's being unfolded, and it is. But like I've said before, if Hollywood is Satan's vision board, and it is, the vision board only comes to life if the people believe. That's the purpose of the vision board. That's why so many of the movies that we've been indoctrinated by and have had access to over the past 30 years are talking about everything that they're doing now. Because the people accepted it to be true. And so the universe, always listening, always feeling, always attentive. You say no, here's more no. You say yes, here's more yes. You say I can't take this anymore, here's more I can't take this anymore. You say I'm stressed out, I don't know what to do with my life, here's more stress and more confusion in your life. I hate all men, here's more men to hate. I hate all women, here's more women to hate. So on the next page, and this is the part where I think I read to you guys before in one of the other videos, but it's still relative. This is on page 264. No man can be happy, efficient, creative at his work when he is unhappy with his situation and lives for another day. All of us are too prone to postpone our living until some nebulous time when our ship will come. Nothing is so apt to inject dissatisfaction into our lives as this wasteful attitude toward the most perishable of all things we know, time. Today, this very day, is the most important time of all, for what we do today determines what we will be tomorrow.